My next topic is about Judge Hampton. Dallas Times-Herald reporter Lori Montgomery told me that she was preparing to go to press with an interview that she had done with the Dallas trial judge and wanted to get my reaction to some of his quotes. She asked me if I was familiar with the Richard Bednarski case. I said yes, of course. He was a guy who had killed 2 gay men in Rivershore Park. She then asked me if I was aware that the killer had gotten a lighter sentence because the 2 men were gay. That I did not know. I could feel my anger rising as Lori read Judge Hampton's statements. They would not have been killed if they hadn't been cruising the streets picking up teenage boys. I put prostitutes and gays at about the same level, he said, and I'd be hard put to give someone life for killing a prostitute. My head very nearly exploded and rolled across the floor. At the judge's final words, I did what I thought was right. I don't much care for queers cruising the streets. I've got a teenage boy. I had exactly the reaction that Lori expected, right along with some choice quotes of my own. I informed the board and we prepared for when the story would hit the newsstand. Bill Hunt organized an immediate and brazen daytime protest in front of the county courthouse, and the media frenzy was underway. Hampton's comments were like a flash fire or backdraft, burning everything in its wake. The comments caught Dallas completely off guard, and the immediate reaction was first of shame and then anger. The courthouse protest evoked a lot of people to action, including Dallas attorney and later Judge Jerry Birdwell, who was working at the courthouse that day and heard the noise outside. He finished his own case and joined the protest. Some friends watching it asked him what he was doing, and he said, "I belong out here." The media stayed with the story for days, forcing Judge Hampton into hiding for his own safety, he said. And then the national media chimed in. I'm not sure how they found out about it, and this coverage continued. Several days later, after the storm of protest had risen to never before such heights in Dallas, Hampton apologized for his poor choice of words. But his apology wasn't directed at the 2 men who were dead or to the gay community who had borne the brunt of his abuse, but to 7 ministers who had signed a statement denouncing his comments. Of course, Hampton was his own worst PR nightmare. He issued another statement that his remarks had been distorted, including a direct quote. I sentenced Richard Lee Bednarski to 30 years in prison instead of a maximum life sentence because the 2 victims, both homosexuals, weren't entirely blameless. We called on Hampton to explain how his remarks were distorted or within what context they could have been taken. The protest continued and the pressure intensified. We demanded that Hampton resign and filed complaints with the State Judicial Commission. Hampton's only supporters were a small group of fundamentalist ministers who praised him for his moral stand against sodomy. In the end, the State Commission on Judicial Conduct eventually censured Hampton. Quote, the commission finds that Judge Hampton's comments, per se, were destructive of public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. The hostility and distrust generated by this judge's irresponsible statement created an additional burden for the entire judiciary. However, despite all the attention and embarrassment, hardship and emotions that Hampton's comments caused, the commission did not see fit to remove him from the bench, and that following year, Judge Hampton was reelected to another term.